One Marysville family sustains heavy damage to one of their outbuildings, but all of this tin you see didn't come from this home. No, it came from a lumber yard half a mile away. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about. Check out this light show outside. You can really see it coming down, and look at that, like a strobe light. And you know what? Earlier in corning, a similarly dangerous situation. Take a look at these two ears of corn. One bad, one good. It just depends on how resistant the strain is to this crippling drought we've had in the Midwest. Well, the street scene will return to normal around here as crews haul away tons of mangled steel and ruined coal. But heavy machines can't do much to restore the sense of security lost when a piece of railroad shattered this family's night.
The latest right now.
Well, Hillary, it seems that the 12th hour of this horrible, tragic story of two officers killed in Topeka may be the hour in which police get their man. A lot of people just doing this, throwing it away. LaSalle was the bracket buster today. It was Harvard yesterday. And on the way to your storm shelter, the National Weather Service says to be sure to bring a helmet for you and your family. It's flying debris that causes the most injuries during a tornado. Yeah, I wish that we had better weather to share with you from Kansas City, but you know what? These clouds and this cold weather kind of matches the gloomy disposition of a lot of K-State fans. All of this dirt is scheduled to turn into pavement and asphalt. Developers plan to build a Walmart supercenter on 17 acres just past these trees. Give me a little music lesson on the drums here. We're gonna test it out for you. Thank you, Colton. All right, guys, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Good evening. You're watching Kansas First News at 6. I'm Kevin Boughton. Thank you for joining us tonight at San Francisco International Airport. Investigators combing through the wreckage of Asiana Airlines Flight 214. The Boeing 777 tumbled off the runway, witnesses said, as the plane was attempting to land. A Topeka man was shot last night, and he tells police road rage may be the cause. At 2 o'clock this morning, a man arrived at a Topeka hospital with some non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. The victim told Topeka police detectives that he believes that he was shot after a bout of road rage that he says happened near Topeka Boulevard and Huntoon. Turning to weather now, a super night for Kyle to make some weather puns. Kyle, why is that?
The rain chances are good.
I was just about to say, we were talking in the newsroom the other day about how brown and crispy and miserable last summer was, and here we are. Yeah, it's muggy, but we're getting that rain that we need so bad.
Yeah, and you can thank me because every time I do a drought story, guess what? The rain chances enter the forecast.
All right, Kyle, we'll send a thank you note your way. Coming up next, some people love it, some people hate it, but some people love it so much they'll come from miles around to try the best meatloaf that they can find. In Paxico, people bellied up to the bar to sample some recipes competing for the title Best Meatloaf. It's the great meatloaf debate after all, and contest organizers say the competition started in Paxico when some local restaurants tried to lure customers. Well, famous chef Paula Deen in the fire over some racist comment she admits to making. It's already cost her job with the Food Network, and rightfully so, many people say. But despite the criticism, fans of Deen lined up around the block at her restaurant in Savannah, Georgia today. Just days before the Supreme Court is expected to make a decision on same-sex marriage, two women are celebrating their wedding at the Equality House right across the street from the Westboro Baptist Church. Katie Sampson was there and joins us now with the message this couple hopes the ceremony sends. Katie? Yeah, we're actually live inside of our storm tracker right now. The weather outside way too dangerous to set up a live shot. We were set up, then the hail, the wind and the rain, and the lightning started rolling in here in Wetmore. We're parked right by the baseball diamond here in town, and let's take a look at what I'm talking about. Check out this light show outside. You can really see it coming down, and look at that, like a strobe light. And you know what? Earlier in Corning, a similarly dangerous situation with a tornado coming into town. A home almost completely destroyed. A grain bin from behind it flipped over on top in the middle of it. Monica Becker, she lives there with her husband and her 5 kids. She tells me she was huddled in a bathroom in the basement downstairs with all 5 of them praying when this tornado hit.
He said, get down there now. And we were down there and we were under, had a blanket over our head and stuff and just prayed.
The scramble is on at the Becker home. There's no time to think about the destruction around them. Family and friends have to get as much as they can out of the rubble before another storm blows in. People coming from miles around to help this family of 7. A tornado lifted a grain bin and used it to splinter their home of 12 years.
There's glass everywhere. Came up and we saw the grain bin on our living room, and it just there's no words.
Monica Becker's family almost came out of their shelter too soon.
We thought it was over, and we called a friend who lives to the west, and he said it's not over, it's not there, it's slow moving. And it hit, and it was as loud as they say it is, and the kids just screamed at the top of their lungs, and we don't have a single scratch or blood, so that's what matters.
Family friend and Nemaha County Sheriff Rich Vernon overseeing a frantic cleanup effort.
It's always hard to see somebody you know, or anybody for that matter, have this tragedy happen to them, but it's real tough.
And a mile away, Janet Hildebrand's home is now dark, and shards of glass litter their living room. This home was the first target of the Corning tornado, and just like at the Becker place, everyone here safe and sound. It really hits home after a while?
Well, it does. You know, you thought about people in Oklahoma and what they went through, and we're lucky.
I know that, you know, whatever the Lord has in store, then, I mean, that's what it's going to be. But that don't mean I got to like it.
Mike Ritchie's prayers are the only thing that interrupts his search for his daughter Christina, now missing for 3 days.
It's just hell. Plain and simple.
After talking to her friends, Christina's parents, Mike and Diana, learned that she drove her Dodge Neon to Nebraska City to meet a truck driver and travel to Oregon.
I bought her that car to give her freedom. Yeah. I gave her freedom, all right.
Police found her car around 9 Friday night, the last trace of her. Now Christina's parents scour what she's left behind for clues.
She shut down her Facebook, and I spent most of the night last night trying to find passwords and re-getting old email addresses reassigned so I could get new passwords sent to the old emails so I could get back into her Facebook.
Wish he would call someone and tell us that she's still all right.
Mike knows he'll eventually have to return to work, but he fears leaving his home office where he's been perched for days.
I don't want to miss a phone call or miss a lead.
Their home printer has been just as busy pushing out flyers that a worried mother hopes will catch the eye of someone who knows something and will report it to police.
Even if you don't think it's anything that would help, it might be that one thing that they need.
A prayer for information that could reunite this family.
I prayed to the Lord. I know it's in His hands, but as a parent, it's really hard to let go. You just can't.
A calm night turns to chaos in an instant.
The house starting to shake, and I looked out the window, and there was nothing but sparks. And so I got up as quick as I could to get in here to grab Chance because I thought the train was coming in.
Around 9:30 Monday night, 24 Union Pacific coal cars jumped the track. While Trevor Gray watched the Chiefs game, his son's window was ripped apart when a chunk of railroad track sliced into his room, narrowly missing the boy.
Their young son was in the top bunk of a bunk beds, and the family dog was in the bottom bunk. And neither one of them were injured.
Well, the street scene will return to normal around here as crews haul away tons of mangled steel and ruined coal. But heavy machines can't do much to restore the sense of security lost when a piece of railroad shattered this family's night. The young boy was watching TV when it happened. Now the crunch of broken glass is inescapable. Herman Lambrecht lives just 100 yards from the tracks. Like his neighbors, he says the roar that shook Grantville will stay with him.
You get used to the train noises, and they sort of fade to the background after a while.
Were you scared at all?
No, I wasn't really afraid. I don't know why I wasn't afraid. Maybe I didn't have enough information to be afraid.
Volunteer Fire Chief Doug Brambaugh was one of the first on the scene.
If one of these cars would have came over and ended up in a house, we could have had a real serious incident.
A family and community thankful. Only a big mess is the legacy of this steel monster.
All my daughter's American Girl doll clothes, they all have glass in them, and of course his toys and everything. It's going to take a lot of work to get it cleaned up.
It was 1 year ago, just this afternoon in fact, that 18-year-old Brenna Morgart, who had graduated from Seaman High School just 5 days earlier, went for a run on the roads near her home. She never returned. She was reported missing at 3:30 in the afternoon of Friday, May 25th, 2012. And a search led sheriff's deputies to her glasses along Northwest Jennings Road. Her body was found in a field 3 miles away. Dustin J. Leftwich was arrested, charged, and pleaded guilty to hitting Brenna with his car, kidnapping her, and drowning her in a stream. In February, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In that courtroom, something remarkable happened. Brenna's father, Dennis, offered Dustin a message of forgiveness and hope. It was a profound gesture to the man who stole his daughter's life. And now, today, on the anniversary of their daughter's death, Dennis and Barb Morgart share their story of agony, of grief, joy, faith, and a belief that they'll see their daughter again. But until that time, they must hold tight to their memories.
There's never any question that she went to heaven. Never any question of where she is today, where she'll be for eternity.
Barb Morgart almost called to cancel. Brenna, a busy girl, was running late for a family photo sitting. Barb was about to phone the photographer and cancel their family's session in the park. She put down the phone when Brenna's blue eyes burst through the door.
The smile, the beautiful blue eyes.
Now her parents and family cherish these photos taken the day before she died.
I don't think there's been a day yet when I haven't woke up thinking about the fact that Brenna's not with us.
And that includes February 15th of this year, when Dennis Morgart stood up in front of a courtroom during Dustin Leftwich's sentencing hearing and offered hope.
We want Dustin to know that we forgive him for what he did to our beautiful girl, to our child of God, to us, to all who knew and loved her, and all who were yet to know her and to love her. There's no sin that can't be forgiven, and we wanted him to know that. We wanted to let some light reflect off of us into what appears to be a very dark life.
I wish that somebody had changed his heart, had a chance to change his heart before he was able to do what he did to our daughter.
Acceptance. It wasn't and may never be easy.
We're looking forward to the day when we can look back on these memories with fond feelings, fondness, and not so much pain. But that's not where we're at yet. We can still see pictures of her or her personal effects around the house that can drive us right to tears.
Even on the darkest of the last 365 days, images of Brenna's life brighten their day. As they hold these memories close to their heart, they can't help but mourn the pictures that will never be taken.
One of her English essays, she was looking forward to meeting and marrying her husband, and she said, "I just know he'll be perfect."
For me.
For me. Perfect for me.
Now Brenna will never make a wedding album. She'll never stand in front of a class as a teacher. But still, she inspires. After her death, friends, even strangers, wrote WWBD on their cars. What would Brenna do? She would love and she would comfort. Now her parents not so much seek to be consoled as to console after an abundance of love and prayers from the community.
We're hoping to get there someday to return the favor that's been such a tremendous source of blessing for us.
Grief-sharing sessions with other parents who know their pain has taught Dennis and Barb
that you can survive, because I'll tell you, there's times when you're not sure you will.
Or you don't want to.
Or you don't want to.
You don't want to.
But together with Brenna's brother and sister, Reed and Ariana, Dennis and Barb do survive.
You just have to do the next thing. Do the next thing. If that's brushing your teeth, go brush your teeth. And it was that hard for a while to be able to just do the next thing. But God has never abandoned us, Kevin. He's never taken his eyes off of us or his hands off of us.
And in the end, it's an ironic sort of joy. Unfathomable sorrow and despair give way to their elation, knowing that their daughter is now in a better place.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
It is, yeah, because we have the heartache. We have a hole in our heart, and we miss her every day. Love her tremendously and miss her every day.